So I will repeat. This is an example of a closed loop system. So because I have lost so many things earlier, just in brief, I will go back. This is the slide which you have seen in the previous class. Here you can see the top one is open loop control system, bottom one is closed loop control system. So the top one, here the input is given to a controller, and controller controls the input and it controls the process. Process or plant, it may slight variation is there. Process means one particular parameter, one single parameter. Like in case of a oven, it is a temperature. In the case of a fan, it is a speed. So whereas in general we refer it to a plant when not only one parameter but multiple parameters have to be controlled. For example, if you want to say a sugar mill or a steel mill, where the number of parameters like flow rate, temperature, speed, humidity, pressure, so many parameters have to be controlled. It may be done by a single controller or a multiple controllers, and that whole together controls the plant. But if there is only one single parameter has to be controlled, then it is called as a process. That means normally only one parameter. Whereas this is a bottom one, you can see the closed loop control system. In this closed loop control system, there is an input. The modification is the feedback. See here, this is a measuring system or a feedback system. That means the required output has achieved or not is continuously measured, and that feedback is continuously given to a controller. So the controller actually finds the difference between the input value and the measured value, and depending on that value, it controls the process. Like if the measured value is less than the input value, then it increases the control signal so that the measured value also increases. If the measured value is more than the input value, then it tries to reduce it and achieve the required result. So here you can see a detailed example of a closed loop control system, that is a automobile system. So this is a manually controlled automobile, that is just your automobile, say car or a two-wheeler, whatever you say, there is no difference. So here actually you can see this driver. This driver is basically a controller. That is, you are the driver, so you are the controller. So you are controlling the steering mechanism of your car or a two-wheeler. Then you can have a steering wheel sensor is there. So here required steering has been done or not, that information goes back to the this error detector. Then it goes to what is known as automobile, and the actual course of travel is you are monitoring that visually by your eyes, and that feedback also you are giving. So there are two feedbacks here: steering wheel position sensor, and another one is visual feedback from your eyes through the brain is coming back. And this error detector takes the difference whether the required thing is achieved or not, it continues. So the basic part of the closed loop control systems are basically, see here, basically here you can see one error detector will be there and a controller. This driver is a controller. Then there is a process. Then you have a plan, and from that you have a feedback. There are two feedbacks here. This is a typical of the closed loop control system. So in the open loop system, the feedback will not be there. That is the difference. And the difference between the both open and closed loop control systems, you can see that from this slide. Open loop system. Open loop system is control system where the output control action depends only on the input signal. If the input signal changes, output also will be changing. Like I have given the example of a fan. If the kVA voltage changes, the speed of the fan changes. If the regulator position is fixed, so that speed of the fan is not guaranteed. It is depends upon the input signal which is coming from kVA. Whereas closed loop system is the control system where the output or control action depends on the input signal as well as output response. So output is continuously monitored by the feedback or measuring system, and the difference between the input and the feedback signal is the actually determining the control action. So it is more accurate. Error detector is not present in open loop system. Error detector is not present because there is no feedback. When there is no feedback, there is no error detector required. So in the case of closed loop system, error detector will be always present. So another difference is feedback is not present in open loop system. Feedback is present in closed loop system. Less accurate, that means the accuracy will be naturally less in the case of an open loop system because there is no feedback. It depends upon the input, and if any external disturbances are there, just like I have explained the kVA voltage, if the kVA voltage fluctuation is there, fan speed also will fluctuate because there is no feedback. So hence the less accurate, this is more accurate. So system disturbance has more effect on the output of open loop control system. That is what I already explained. That is kVA voltage fluctuation will affect the open loop system response. Whereas closed loop system, there is external disturbance does not affect at all the control system, or sometimes it affects, but the effect is relatively less. Then we can see the differences between open loop and closed loop system. Optimization for the desired output cannot be performed in an open loop system. Optimization can be done very easily in the closed loop system. That means you can, if you want a desired output, you can tweak the controller and try to obtain it because continuous feedback is there in the closed loop system. Then it is comparatively slower. So it is, there is a mistake here. You can see it is comparatively slower is written in both the cases. It is not so. It is open loop system is fast because if the input changes, outputs immediately changes. So it is not slower, it is faster. Whereas closed loop system, see here, it is slower in response. The reason for that is, see, for example, I will give you a closed loop control system. In the closed loop control system, there is a feedback. In the feedback means, that means the difference between the input and output is continuously monitored. Difference between input and output is continuously monitored. So when it is continuously monitored, here you can see that initially I will take the example of, say, this is an automobile only. Suppose you are talking about the steering of the automobile. Here, initially, depending on the steering angle required, the driver steers the vehicle. Then, initially, the vehicle position is straight. It is not taking turn. That time, the difference between the input signal and the measured value is very high. So this difference, this minus this, you can see the minus sign here. This is the input is with the plus sign, output is with the minus sign. So this minus this is initially very high. So the control signal generated by the controller is of high value. But as the vehicle start taking a turn, see the angle steered will go on being reached. So the difference between the input value and the measured value, as this goes on increasing, measured value slowly goes on increasing, this minus this goes on decreasing. When it goes on decreasing, so the control signal value is less. So the further steering action will be slower. So as we try to achieve the final value, the difference between the set value and achieved value, as it goes on decreasing, the steering action goes on decreasing. I will take another example for this. Suppose you are controlling the oven temperature. Suppose you are controlling oven temperature, which is a closed loop control system. When it is a closed loop control system, when it is a closed loop control system, say take the example of a oven. Suppose you want to set the oven temperature to 200 degrees centigrade, and it is controlled by a thermostat, or if it is controlled by some controller. Forget thermostat. Let us say it is an inverter drive. So hence there is a continuous control is there, not on-off control. That will come to that later. What is different types of controllers? On-off controllers are there and continuous controllers are there. In on-off controller, it is only switched on or switched off, like in the case of a oven or something. Whereas if it is continuous control, that like inverter driven AC, there the continuous control is there. So here what happens is, if you say the case of the oven, let us assume oven doesn't have on-off controller but continuous controller. In that case, you set the temperature of the oven to 200 degrees centigrade. Let us assume the room temperature is 30 degrees centigrade. So initially oven is at the room temperature. So when the oven is at the room temperature and you want the value of 200 degrees centigrade, the difference is 200 minus 30, that is 170 degrees centigrade. So the control signal which is generated will be proportional to the error, that is 200 minus 30, which is 170 degrees centigrade. Its value will be high. So as that high value signal is given to a oven starts getting heated up. As the temperature of the oven goes on increasing, the measured value goes on increasing. When it goes on increasing, the set value is 200, the measured value, suppose when it becomes 100, the temperature of the oven becomes 100, then it is 200 minus 100 is 100 degrees centigrade. So that means the signal generated not corresponding to 170 degrees centigrade like earlier, but it is generated proportional to 100 degrees centigrade, that is 200 minus the achieved temperature 100. So this way, this error signal goes on decreasing. When the error signal goes on decreasing, controller will generate the signal proportional to the error. So that value goes on decreasing. So the required temperature is achieved very slowly. But if it is an open loop system, when it is open loop system, corresponding to open loop system, suppose you want to set the temperature of the oven to 200 degrees centigrade. So initially only 200 is given, and all the time 200 degrees centigrade corresponding to 200 degrees centigrade, the controller is giving the input to the oven. So oven will heat up faster, and hence that is what is we mean that this is what is the difference between the two things. So that is what comparatively faster it should be, and this is comparatively slower. Bandwidth is small, bandwidth is large. Bandwidth means the operating range or something like that. System is cheap, system is costlier. Okay, that is common sense, because in open loop system there are less components, less complex, and hence the system is cheap and this system is costlier. Systems are stable here. Here the question of stability does not arise. Basically because proportional to input, it will give you an output and there is no feedback here. So there is no question of instability here. But system here, closed loop system, making the closed loop system is very difficult actually. It is not unstable, it is stable only. Nobody prefers unstable systems. Everybody wants stable systems only. But the stability, achieving stability is difficult. And it is at the cost of sensitivity and accuracy, always down. In the previous class, I have taken the example of sensitivity, stability, and accuracy, how they go, how they are interrelated. I have taken the example of an oven only. Suppose you want the oven temperature to be 200. If you give a smaller tolerance, plus or minus 1 degree centigrade, like 199 to 201, then the system will be continuously switching on and switching off. And that will create instability in the system and also damage the system. To make the system stable, you have to give a bigger tolerance. Instead of say 1 degree centigrade, you give 10 degree centigrade as a tolerance, depending on the system requirement. So that means you have to give the tolerance up to 190 to 210. In that case, the system stability increases, but the accuracy will decrease, and at the same time, sensitivity will decrease. So accuracy, sensitivity, and stability, they are very crucial. You have to tune up the system according to that. See, when all the time you see here, for the example of a oven, whether it is 190 degrees centigrade or anyway, you are going to use it for a baking of the cake. Whether it is 190 degrees centigrade or 210 degrees centigrade, it is not going to cause major problem as far as the cooking is concerned. But the same oven is being used for some sensitive applications where a small difference in the temperature creates the major issue. For that, we can take the system of manufacturing of a alcohol, for example. There are two types of alcohol everybody knows, that is methyl alcohol and ethyl alcohol. In methyl alcohol, it is CH3OH, whereas ethyl alcohol is C2H5OH. So both are colorless, odorless liquids. Ethyl alcohol is expensive, methyl alcohol is cheaper. Methyl alcohol is poisonous, ethyl alcohol is edible. That means generally the liquor which you people drink is a ethyl alcohol. But it always contains methyl alcohol also. Some small percentage of methyl alcohol is in there. So that's why people get the hangover also. That is because of the small percentage of methyl alcohol present in the refined process. So you cannot totally eliminate it. That's why the slower the process, better it is. So that's why the people take the Scotch whiskey, which is which has taken matured for longer duration of a time, because the percentage of ethyl alcohol in that whiskey is more compared to the cheaper ones. So here, this process is very difficult to control, and it is controlled by what is known as a catalyst. The catalyst is this is ammonium chloride is the catalyst there. So here, the percentage of ammonium chloride added to the liquid plays an important role. So if the amount of ammonium chloride added in the process is less than required, so the more of methyl alcohol is created. And when the less amount of ethyl alcohol is created. And hence, in the liquor, if there is a large percentage of methyl alcohol is there, people die. You might have seen the bootleggers, where because they manufacture this by a crude method, by crude way of distillery, because they don't have any sophisticated plants, and as the business is illegal, they can't afford to put up a regular plant also. So hence, sometimes if the mistake goes on like this, there is a variation in the catalyst value, so the problem occurs. So that means here the things have to be controlled very accurately sometimes. For example, similarly, you can see the soap, a soap manufacturing. See, basically the soap is nothing but a soda ash. Along with it is a colloidal solution of a soda ash and oil. See, the number of types of soaps are available. Some soaps are very gentle, some soaps are very harsh. For example, gentle soaps are one which you use for bathing purpose. For children and all, it is still softer. Then in winter and all, you use softer soaps. This is for taking a bath. But the same soap is also used to wash the clothes. In washing clothes also, you will get a different variety. You will get a Ariel also, you will get an Irma also. So here the harshness of that depends upon the certain processes. So here, if the control of the process is not properly done, instead of producing a soft soap or a bathing soap, you end up in manufacturing washing soap. So the cost of the washing soap is hardly around 1/3 of bathing soap. So whole thing goes wrong. So here the control has to be done properly. So accuracy and sensitivity are important parameters. But in all the processes, they are not very important. For example, for a room air conditioner, for a refrigerator, electric oven, temperature control accuracy is preferred, but exactly it is not required because the body, human body, suppose you set the temperature of air conditioner to say 25 degrees centigrade, even if it is 26 or 24, your body will not notice it. But if it is a chemical process where the temperature has to be controlled accurately, if the small change in temperature leads to some major errors, then the controller has to be properly designed. So the design of a controller is very, very important and very complex. See, now there are so many types of controllers you have come across, or even on a washing machine also you might have seen fuzzy logic controller, neurofuzzy controllers are coming up. So fuzzy logic controllers and all, they work on a what is known as a non-crisp logic. So crisp logic and non-crisp logic, you might have already have some idea. Crisp logic is one where you have a certain logic, and that can be encoded in a binary digits, that is 0 or 1. That means for a particular question, you have an answer either yes or no that can be easily assigned by a binary logic. 0 for no, 1 for yes, like that. But in all the cases, it is not possible. For example, if you say the fuzzy logic washing machine, if you take, in the fuzzy logic washing machine, nowadays the machine is so much automated, your job is to simply put the clothes in a drum and press one button. That's all. That means it will select the process, how many times it has to wash, how much time it has to rinse, how many wash cycles are there, how many rinse cycles are there, how many dry cycles in between, how many dry cycles afterwards. All is decided by the controller only. You are not doing anything. You might have seen some fully automatic front loading or top loading washing machines. What you have to do is put the clothes immediately, press one button, it will do everything. Only your job is to add the detergent, or if you want to add the softener or optical brightener like say Needle and all, that you add. Other than that, you don't do anything. So how it is done? It cannot be done by a crisp logic. Reason is in the clothes. So the different types of washing cycle is required for different types of clothes. If the clothes are very thick, made up of cotton, they will be naturally more dirty and they are heavier also. Whereas they require more time for wash, more amount of detergent is required for such clothes. Whereas if you see the other terrain or other type of clothes or polyester clothes, they are generally lighter and at the same time they are not heavy also, and they get cleaned also very fast. But it is not possible in a home to put only a polyester clothes once, cotton clothes afterwards, silk clothes afterwards, woolen clothes afterwards. It is not possible to segregate each one, and how many times you are going to segregate and how much time is required. So for that purpose, generally you end up in mixing the clothes. Of course, you are not allowed to mix the clothes like very delicate clothes like silk and woolen. You have to wash them separately, and moreover, such type of clothes are required to be occasionally washed. So daily wash purpose, either it is a polyester or synthetic clothes or cotton clothes, and generally you mix them up and wash. Then how the machine decides which cycle it has to choose? See, here, yes or no type of answer will not be sufficient, because it will first ask whether the clothes are cotton. Yes. If you, it will ask next, the clothes are polyester. The answer is yes, because partly it is polyester, partly it is cotton. So it has one lookup table. It will determine how much percentage of clothes are cotton, how much percentage of clothes are polyester. That also it will do it by some rough method. For example, if you have seen, if the washing machine, if you see top loading washing machine, I will take the example. If you float the clothes and press the button, initially it will rotate 2-3 times. Why it does that is basically when it rotates the machine, it will, the centrifugal force will be generated. And there is a sensor which will measure the centrifugal force. And from that, there is a lookup table. If this value of centrifugal force is there, that means how many cotton clothes are there, how much weight of polyester clothes are there. It is a rough estimate it will do. And depending on that, then the next step is, you might have seen, it will start taking the water, and along with the water, you are supposed to add the detergent. When you add the detergent to a water, so the water will become murky because detergent starts action immediately. And some amount of loose dirt comes into the water. So here in the drum, there are generally optical sensors are there. So they will see how much murky water is there. So depending on that, they will come, the machine will come to know how much dirty clothes are. Depending on that, it will suggest you how much amount of detergent you have to add. Roughly, it will send that signal. So you have to add that much of detergent. Afterwards, it will decide how much time it has to take for wash cycle, and more the amount of detergent, more is the amount of dirt. That many rinse cycles have to be added automatically, because to remove the detergent, it will take more time. So this way, here the fuzzy logic controllers come into the picture. Whereas neurofuzzy controllers or artificial intelligence based controller, these controllers, they are capable of learning while working. That means by their experience and your choice, the controller starts learning. And because every day you have a similar type of clothes are being washed, there are fixed number of people in your house. Every day the similar types of clothes are come for a wash. Depending on that, the controller can go on learning. That is what is a neurofuzzy controller works as. So here it goes on learning, and it will come to know your choice. And finally, it will start using a particular type of load is there. It will do the particular washing. This is what is a neurofuzzy controller. These are the advances. There are so many types of new controllers are there. It is controller tuning is a major job, because how much accuracy you want, how much sensitivity you want, how much stability you want, depending on the controllers have to be tuned properly. There are fuzzy logic controllers, neurofuzzy controllers, and the tuning of the controller can be done by PID controller, that is proportional integral derivative controller. Then you have other type of genetic algorithm based controllers. All these things are there. Practically speaking, the controller area is now more or less saturated. So hardly any research goes on in most of the controllers now, because last 20 odd years, there is a lot of things have been added. So I will finish up with other points, that is cheap and all. Stability is the problem in the closed loop system. System is less reliable. Naturally, open loop system is less reliable. Reason is it has no feedback. Closed loop system is more reliable because there is a feedback here. Systems are simpler in construction, design, operation, and all for open loop system. Systems are generally very complex in design and use also. Sometimes a training is required for closed loop control systems, whereas in open loop system, those such thing is there. Examples of open loop system is water sprinkler, traffic light, etc., etc. Whereas closed loop system, your examples are missile launch, or that is missile launching or guiding system, stabilizer. then air conditioner, refrigerator, electrical oven, even your heating iron, water heater, where the temperature is set, possibility of setting. Is it clear? So we can take the breath now, and then lastly we can go for what is known as requirements of the good control system in the after a break of 15 minutes. Okay. So if you have any question, you can put it in a chat box.